Welcome, everybody, to Samudra Shakti Online. I'm Lisa Long. I'm here along with Madhuri Martin. We're the planning committee for Samudra Shakti Online. So Samudra Shakti Online originated out of a live event in Colorado over 2 years ago. And this was our planning team that brought that live event together. And what it was all of the Anusara yoga teachers in the United States gathered. And it was such an amazing event. There was so much Shakti, so much energy that we wanted to keep it alive, to keep the connection, the community, and the collaboration going. And that's how Samudra Shakti Online was born and created. Tonight, we have Marcee Gutman-Ballantyne joining us. And I'm really excited to introduce Marcee and tell you a little bit more about her. She is an ERYT 500, a Yoga Alliance continuing education provider, and the founder and owner of Fountain of Health Yoga Studio in Pueblo, Colorado. She has taught yoga since 1996 while studying with greats like John Friend, the Shambhava School of Yoga, and Rod Stryker. She has studied Ayurveda with Arpita Shah, Katie Silcox, Kate Stillman, and Melanie Hausman. Her great loves are teaching Hatha and Tantra, her dog, whose name's Anahata, the morning comics, and sunrise walks. Marcee says, every day I try to be like my dog, Anahata. I stretch often, love and laugh, dig deep into my dharma, and then jump high to catch the ball of joy. So I'm going to stop this screen share and hand this over to Marcee. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Hi. I'm seeing all these people waving. This is wonderful. Hey, these are all my friends, so I feel really comfortable. And a few new friends, but some old friends. And I want to share some secrets hidden between the lines of Anusara Yoga's principles of alignment. And so if you'll stay with me for the next few minutes, I want to reveal those surprises to you so that you can connect to your amazing inner teacher. I discovered through poses, asana, pranayama, meditation, and self-reflection that there was an avenue to open up to limitless fountain of wisdom within. So as Lisa said, I opened up my studio in 1996 and I began studying with John in 1999. And when he said, set your foundation, take a breath, open to grace, that was kind of it for me, and started this long and glorious path of learning with him. So forever grateful for that. It was mystical, astounding, and delightful to spend time with him, over 1,000 hours directly with him. And he liked to use me to demonstrate. I have scoliosis, a pretty strong scoliosis in my back. I'm sure most of you understand what that is. It's a curvature in the spine. And he would have me represent Tadasana, and he would ask me to set myself up where I was standing up straight. And then he would say, do you feel like you're standing up straight? And I'd say, yes. And he'd go, you're not, you're crooked. And it was always kind and, always sweet. And I go, okay. And then he would say, do this, do that, lengthen here, breathe there, and do this. And now this is in the beginning. Okay. So I would just do that. And then he would say, how do you feel? I'd say, totally crooked. And he'd say, you are straight. And so that was interesting to me. And I started to explore that. The more I learned about the universal principles of alignment, the more I got to know that what this and that and breathing here and adjusting that. And he also said to me, and I really thought he was being kind at the time, but then I realized he was right, that my asymmetry would force me to go inside, to find inner body awareness, to be able to manifest asymmetrical action to create dynamic symmetry. And that's, again, I thought he was just being kind, but that was something that did manifest over time. That I was in pain all the time. by the way. I had scoliosis since I was a little kid. It's okay now. I'm okay. And thanks, Tanya. I saw a boo-boo face. I'm like, I'm okay. Thanks to Anusara, thanks to John Friend and the wisdom of Anusara. So what I'd like to share with you is a little, we're not going to do a lot of hard posture. We're going to be very gentle and more exploratory. So what I'd like you to have available, ideally, would be a chair to sit in to start with, your sticky mat, maybe 2 blocks, even if you don't think you need them. I want to have a little spaciousness in the practice, or the bottom of your chair. You're going to need to lay down, and then you're going to need to be able to sit for a few minutes for pranayama and meditation. So if you want to set that up, I'm going to move to my chair. So we're going to do just some pelvic tilts. I hate to move your body until we've done a little bit of warm up. So you could sit forward in your chair just for a second. And on your inhales, lift your heart, arch your back. On your exhales, round your back. That's all. The important thing here is linking your movement to your breath. And that's really clearly an avenue to tapping into the inner teacher. So as you begin this movement and then it ends, you move to your exhale. Okay, so lining up, let's come to center. And I'm going to ask you tonight not to go to your deepest posture. I want you to be very thoughtful of how deep you go so that we can tap into the inner teacher to tell you, do you want to go deeper? Do you have to go rush to your edge? So sit up tall and look at your toes, that they're lined up and your feet are straight. Literally look at them, and that your knees are lined up. And I'll mirror you in our postures. And then very gentle dynamic twisting, just inhaling, lengthen, exhale, twist to your right, and just inhale back to center. So just pulsing into the twist, nothing big yet. And then the next time you come into your twist, let's stay. And you've noticed I haven't said a word about alignment yet. And you're twisting to your right. Everybody should be twisting to their right, and I'm mirroring you guys. And I want you to look at your right knee. Just look down at your right knee and see, is it still level to your left knee? And so this is what I want to talk about. Let's come back to center. So when we did pelvic tilts here, this is symmetrical. We don't have to make any changes. But when we do something asymmetrical, we have to do a little bit of that asymmetrical action to create dynamic symmetry. So we're keeping the foundation of our feet. We're keeping awareness of our knees lined up. And we're definitely grounding down through our sit bones. So on your next inhale, let's sit up tall. Again, we're going to twist to the right. So some of the things we can employ, if you saw that your knee retracted, is your foundation really set, or did it shift? Are you expressing out with organic extension to keep that length and not to start to turn? We want to keep a twist as opposed to a turn. There's another thing that I want to add, and we're really going to look at that in a few minutes. Next inhale, come back to center, keep your length, and just pause and take that breath. Open your heart to grace. Open your heart so there's spaciousness to hear from your inner teacher. Okay, so a little dynamic twisting now to your left. Just work with your breath. Inhale, create the length in the vertebrae. On your exhale, a little twist. And then finally, we'll stay. And you're going to do that little glance at your left knee. It's giving you some valuable information. Did it retract? Are you keeping your foundation set? Are you extending through that leg? And a little bit more of the hip we're turning into, just a little bit more outer spiral, a little bit more external rotation in that thigh. And on your next inhale, come back to center and take another breath. And then let's come on up standing. And if you can have your sticky mat already, that would be great. We'll move our chair. If you have 2 blocks, that would be awesome. There's a quote from Benjamin Spock: trust yourself, you know more than you think you do. So I want to warm up your body just a little bit more before we go into some explorations. So line your feet up straight ahead, about 2 to 3 inches apart. Look down at your feet. Look at the root of the second toe straight through your heel so that you know, okay, I've got a parallel line that I can work with. Then just kind of rock forward and rock back, rock side to side, and just getting an awareness of your spine. Ultimately, we want to draw our energy into our spine. And so if we just kind of move through those little edges and then come to the middle and just feel those 4 corners, lift your toes, let your inner arch and your outer arch get lively. This is our foundation. We're going to take a breath and open our hearts to grace and open our hearts to hearing the inner teacher. Let's keep all of that awareness. And on your inhale, stretch your arms up, palms facing. And then when you exhale, bend your knees and bend your elbows. Link to your breath as soon as you can, but on the inhale, lift your collarbones. On your exhale, lay your chest down on your thighs. Now firm your hips, root your tailbone. Lift your body parallel to the ground, arms are to the T. Continue that little scoop to sit back, feel the support. Let's pulse a pelvic loop. On your inhale, take your thighs way back. On your exhale, just a slight root of the tailbone. And obviously, it's so much better if you work at your breath rate. All right, on our next inhale, little crescent. Again, I just want a little bit of warm up for you, and then crescent. Coming back to center, arms to T, legs are straight, but with a little micro bend in the knees. Come to your forward bend. Lift with your shoulders, keep your skull loop as we come up halfway. Exhale, fold. And rooting from the focal point in the pelvis, let's rise up, reach up, interlace your hands, soft knees, bend your palms forward, stretch your arms up and back, give it a squeeze. Let's do one more. Push out, round, stretch up, and squeeze. All right, we'll come into Utkatasana, chair pose. We'll hold it for a moment. So on your inhale, stretch your arms up. On the exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Let's hold it. But one time on your inhale, take your thighs back and then root your tailbone. If you feel comfortable, straighten your arms. If this feels better for your shoulders on your back, keep this. And then just check in. Take a breath. And feel, are you feeling the inner teacher telling you, no, you need a little more tailbone. You need a little less tailbone. Next inhale, rise up. Exhale your arms down. Okay, so Virabhadrasana 1, I'm going to work through 3 poses and we'll come out of them and then go back to the second one. And there's going to be a common theme through all those 3 poses. So I'll mirror you. Let's have the right leg forward, the left leg back. I think I'll turn this way for a second. And I like to use seesaw principle to my advantage. And so bending the knee right over the ankle, leaning forward, I get a lot more opportunity to take my thighs back. So my back foot, let's come up standing for a second. Let's start a little bit more from the beginning. So your foundation is set. You've got a little space between your heels. Hips are squared to your front. Shoulders are squared to your front. You want to establish that and feel the stability of your foundation. We can't elevate and create that spacious awareness of the divine presence within us without feeling some form of stability. Bend your right knee over the ankle. Now we lean forward. Tone up your legs. Widen your sit bones back and apart. A little root of the tailbone. And this is what I want to talk about. Asymmetrical action to create dynamic symmetry. Grab your outer right thigh, kind of dig into it, and roll it open a little. Roll it to the side, externally rotate it. And just, it'll be easy to feel right here. Let's come on up and give it a rest. Remember that feeling of a little more external rotation in the front leg. So let's bend into it again. Take your thighs back, sit bones really lift, a lot of expansion, a little tiny scoop, and you feel that, okay, that external rotation is more apparent and helpful in the front leg. And then sit back. On your inhales, open. And on your exhales, hands to Anjali Mudra, leg straightens. Now please go at your own pace. And so we were keeping all those alignment principles. And so some of those things that help us is that little bit more outer spiral on the front leg and a little bit more internal spiral on the back leg. Okay, the next time we come into arms open, let's hold it. You can double check with your knee, whatever you need to do, but ultimately keep your alignment principles, check in with the inner teacher. Does she want a deeper back bend? Does she want to absolutely come out of the pose? How do we tune into our inner teacher as we listen? Otherwise she stops talking. She won't keep talking. All right, and on your next inhale, straighten that leg. Exhale your arms down and step to the top of your mat. And take a breath. This is second side. You might have different needs on the second side, so we respect that as well. So left leg will be forward, right leg is back. Again, take the time to make sure hips are squared to the front, shoulders are squared to the front. So front foot is straight, the back foot turns in about 45 degrees, a little space between the heels. Bend into your front leg. When we hug our muscles to the bone, it's the loving embrace of your wisdom, of what you've learned. I know a lot of you, and a lot of you know these principles. Let's hug in, let's bring them in so that we can have more freedom. Widen your sit bones apart, scoop your tailbone. Let's grab that outer left thigh and just roll it out a little bit, a little external rotation. And then sit back, keeping all of that. Inhales, open heart. Exhales, straighten the leg, hands to the heart. So keep that action going. Keep all of your alignments. And the breath is going to assist you. If you're linking your movement to your breath, she's a lot closer to you. She's telling you things. She's whispering to you. So next time we come in, let's hold it. And again, check in with her. Does she want you to go deeper? Your inner teacher. She's always there. If you listen, maybe she wants a deeper back bend, maybe she doesn't. And you need to learn when okay, today I'm being lazy, today, no. I'm really listening, I'm hearing her. It's not laziness, it's not my stories, it's not my fear. And next inhale, straighten the leg and step forward. So here's where your blocks are going to come in handy. You can have them in the front of your sticky mat, and this foundation is exactly the same. So right leg will be forward, left leg will be back. Have your blocks within reach of the bottom of your chair. Just make sure that your chair is steady and stable. So I double check. Foundation is set. And you can set up all your alignments. You can also change them, double check and listen to your own wisdom. You know a lot. You know more than you think you do. So we look, okay, I'm straight, hugging in, thighs back, tailbone. From the focal point, from that place of knowing, I extend down and I rise up. I meet it with freedom. On my inhale, lifting collarbones, and we're just gonna come forward to a forward bend. And your hands are either on your blocks or on your chair. I'd like you to notice how maybe your right hip, I'm kind of making an exaggeration here, wants to roll forward. Take your right hand again, roll it out and roll it back. And that's going to level up your pelvis. So we're in Parsvottanasana. And then soften your heart between your shoulder blades. And take some nice deep Ujjayi breaths. Check that your breath is in your belly. Now to come up, it's up to you, but you can root down from the focal point and just lift up on the inhale. Or you could have put your hands on your hips. I didn't mention that. And then step forward. Take a breath. Okay, right leg goes back, left leg is forward. Again, take your time to set up your foundation. Without that, we lose the stability. And we want that stability to have that freedom of the wisdom coming to us from our inner teacher. Hips are squared, shoulders are square. Once again, draw from the earth, draw all your knowledge from all your years of study, hug it in, take your thighs back, root your tailbone, stabilize your pelvis, stabilize your low back, keep the chin in. On your inhale, lift into the heart, exhale, hands to your blocks or to your chair. Just notice the tendency for misalignment. So we do a little, take that hand, the left hand now, roll that thigh out, and notice that leveled up your hips. And so asymmetrical action, a little bit more, just a little bit more outer spiral on the front leg. Again, feeling that foundation, solid, steady, rooting down from the focal point in the pelvis. On your inhale, rise up, and we'll step the feet together again. So we're going to try to keep all of that and move into a twist. And you know, the stronger the pose gets, the more the tendency is to misalign. So we're going to try to keep that alignment going. Okay, so let's start it again. Right leg, it's all the same foundation. Right leg forward, left leg back. We'll start with Parsvottanasana so that we feel that steadiness in the hips, and then we'll move into our twist. And as I said earlier, try not to rush to your edge. Let your edge come and meet you if it wants to, and if your heart is telling you, if your inner teacher is telling you that's appropriate for tonight. Foundation is set, we're hugging, thighs back, tailbone, rooting down, rising up. Keep our shoulder loop, we keep our skull loop. We're free now to come to our forward bend. So we're right in the Parsvottanasana. Take your right hand to that outer right hip again and roll that thigh out, a little external rotation. Now, if you feel you can keep that, do, and maybe transfer your hand to your hip. Lengthen your side body. Take the head of the arm bone back, shoulder blade on your back. Softly press your head back. Maybe the arm wants to come up. Let the freedom of the inner teacher express herself. And it's your job to trust her and know that you know more than you think. On your next inhale, release your twist. This time, how about we just step forward to Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Line up your feet, something nice and symmetrical after all this asymmetry. And then hands to your hips, square your shoulders back, rooting down on your next inhale, come on up. Okay, second side, left leg is forward. Set the foundation, never be in a rush. Get that steadiness. Feel the earth supporting you. Feel that you're consciously bringing energy into your spine, that's your choice, that feeds your inner teacher. That is the blessing. We bring that in, thighs back, tailbone in, root down from the focal point, feel that strength of what you really know. Lengthen out through your spine, take your inhale, exhale at your pace. Of course, I'm just cueing the breath. And then take the left hand, roll the upper left thigh externally. Just grab that flesh and roll it out a little bit. Now keep that and take your hand on your hip, lengthen the side body, arm bone goes back, shoulder blade on the back. Feel where you are right now and feel how she wants to express through you. She is you. Open it up. On your next inhale, lengthen out to take the hands down. Let's step into Uttanasana yet again. Line up your feet. Let's take our hands to our hips and square the shoulders back. On your inhale, come on up standing. Take a few deep breaths. It's always good. My body feels it a lot, and some of you may have your own asymmetries from injuries, from surgeries, from whatever it is. We all have asymmetries, but hopefully you can tell in our posture that the posture that is asymmetrical needs adjustment to come to symmetry. So when we come into Tadasana, just for me, it really helps. I can't just leave poses like left, right, left. I have to come back to myself. I have to come back to something that's steady and stable. And what better pose than mountain pose? So I'm going to ask you to lay down now. Short asana, like I promised. And I'm going to talk you through a shavasana, a guided shavasana. And then we'll come up and do some pranayama. So yeah, definitely get comfortable and warm. And then we will sit up and do a little bit of pranayama and a little bit of meditation. So just a little bit that we did, perhaps you can tap in and feel how you feel right now. And of course, even our shavasana has alignment, doesn't it? Your legs are a little wider than your hips. Your arms are a little wider than your hips as well. And you could just take a moment and establish thighs back, tailbone in. You can press into your upper arms and press down into the earth and squeeze your shoulder blades deeper into your back. Double check your neck. Is it overarching or is your chin tucking? And then let's take a moment to check your front of your body and your back of your body. Front and back and side to side. And feel where you have the most awareness in the front body, the back body, side to side. We're looking for balance. We're looking for a space of unity. And then take your awareness to your ankles. And notice your left ankle. Notice your right ankle. Does one have more energy? Does one have more prana? So you can extend your prana to the one that has less energy and give it that energy. And from the ankles, once you've established that, move up to your knees. I'm sure you can feel this. Is one have more energy than the other? Is there achiness or anything like that? And just extend your loving kindness, your healing energy, your prana to the one that needs it until they become one. Bring awareness to the buttocks on the ground. Is one side heavier than the other? Is one side lacking prana? You can extend your energy to find balance and unity. So even in Shavasana, there's asymmetry physically and energetically, bringing balance. Feel into your groins. Notice asymmetry there and bring energy to the one that needs it. All areas of your belly. Is there any tension in the belly? Try to relax your belly. heads of the arm bones. As we continue, they get heavier, softer, and warmer. Allow that and bring energy to the shoulder that needs it. Extend your energy to your elbows, left and right, front and back. And your wrists. All the joints in your fingers. Ultimately, no longer feels like two, it feels like one. Bring awareness to your ears, the inner ears, left and right. Inner corners of your eyes and the outer corners of your eyes. And feel balance there. Feel the eyes get heavy and soft. And a balance of energy of prana in the eyes. Pay extra attention. Forehead, both sides of the forehead, the scalp, the skull. It's finding balance, front, back, side to side. Perhaps even feeling how your brain is balancing. A unity, moving from the finite to the infinite. Taking what you know, the wisdom that you know, and allowing the inner teacher to have her voice. And finally, surrender and let go. Let's just rest in stillness for a couple minutes. As we start to come back, with your eyes closed, just see your room, sense your room, visualize it. Start to deepen your breath. As you saw how powerful you are to be able to extend your prana. So as we deepen our breath, extend your prana to your fingers and your toes. But let the inner teacher move you, taking your time. There's no rush. As the breath deepens, might inspire movement. You can stretch however you wish. And as soon as your body wants to, you can bend your knees and rest on your side. Take some deep breaths on your side. Let your back adjust, let your breath adjust. Only when your body is ready, use your hands, your groin stays soft, and come into a seat. So we will be sitting for probably at least 10 minutes, could be 15. So take the time to come into a chair or use something to support your back or elevate your hips. I'd rather you're not thinking about your body so much as the work that we'll be doing. Once you come to your seat, double check your foundation, create length in the side body, take your arm bones back, gently squeeze your shoulder blades down and into your back, and just breathe to create spaciousness. Lengthen the sides of your neck and gently press your head back, keeping your chin neutral. Lengthen the cervical spine, just right. Look for any asymmetry that you can smooth out. And a nostril breath is what we're going to work with right now. So no ujjayi breath, and we're just going to observe, so there's no shaping. With your eyes closed, go deep within and just watch your breath. As your body breathes in, notice it at the tips of your nostrils, moving up to the spiritual eye, midbrain. As your body breathes out, just notice it going back to the tips of the nostrils. All you're doing is observing. You're not shaping it, you're not deepening it, you're just watching it. And as you continue, you might notice something. You might notice one side feels more dominant. We're still not making any shape to it. We're just observing. If your mind wanders, bring it back. We can't tap into the inner teacher if we're doing our laundry list. You might see, everybody's different how they perceive the energy. You might see two streams of light coalescing at the spiritual eye. Some people feel just the pranic sensation. As we continue, you might start to feel either light growing at the spiritual eye or a density, a presence. Please continue. Now we are going to shape the breath. We're going to shift a little bit. As you inhale through your left nostril, again, we're doing alternate nostril mentally. So you'll inhale through your left nostril to spiritual eye, exhale out the right nostril, extend to the heart center. Then inhale from the heart center, up the right nostril to spiritual eye, exhale out the left to the heart. So basically still nostril breath, but now we're extending from the third eye to the heart center, side to side. Go at your own pace. And you might start to feel that light or energy or presence now starting to build in the heart. Let's let go of this technique and just rest in the heart. Just breathing naturally. Keeping your eyes closed, keeping that light and awareness in the heart. You are the inner teacher. You are the fire that you seek. It is not outside of you. Keeping your awareness on the heart chakra in the spine. Take your awareness now to the abode of the soul, one finger's width to the left of the spine. Express that light, that energy there. Perhaps you can see or sense a bead of light the size of a large pearl. And imagine or feel or see or sense the immortal self as a bead of light. Unconditioned, boundless awareness. The source of wisdom and compassion. This is you. This is the inner teacher. And when you breathe in, this involuntarily, this light expands. When you breathe out, it contracts back down to a bead-like pearl of light. So each inhale, as you breathe in, light expands. With each exhale, it contracts back down to this bead-like pearl of light. Drop out of the head and enter into the heart. As the mind quiets, eventually the whole heart is full of light. And in the midst of that light, you can see or sense an open lotus blossom. On that blossom sits your higher self, your own wise inner teacher, a luminous being. Before you were born, you exist in her. After you are born, she exists in you. Let's take our hands to our hearts. Before we chant Om and we do the Anusara invocation, we talked about asymmetry in our bodies and creating symmetry that way. But there are so many other ways, especially in this world right now, although it's always been this way. We need to create symmetry however we can, and our practices support us, the strength and the power of good alignment to keep you safe, healthy, strong, excited, and in love with your practice. It'll take you to that inner teacher. If you'd like, please join me. We'll chant the sound of Om 3 times and one Anusara yoga invocation. Take a deep breath in. Om. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om. As we bow into our hearts, we offer gratitude and blessings for these practices that serve us so well. I ask you to remember one thing, that you are loved. Namaste.